Welcome to the Commvault channel. In this video we will discuss how to install Commvault version 11, data agents, on Linux server. Please like, share, comment or suggest. Subscribe for more videos, and you can follow us on Instagram. For this video, we will be installing file system and media agent on Red Hat Linux server, using push install, in other words, remote install, and manual install. Before proceeding with any of the install methods, you need to ensure communication between COM server and the client is working as desired, that is, name to IP, and IP to name, should be resolving properly, as configured in the DNS. Firewall configuration on the Linux machine should be set properly, so that communication between the COM server and the client does not interrupt. If needed, disable the IP tables until installation is complete. Ensure the COM server software cache has all the software needed, to the version equal to the one installed on COM server, or lower. Let's proceed with the first method of install, push install, or remote install. When you perform a remote installation, the COM server sends the software to the selected client computer, and then silently installs the software. You can perform remote install parallelly on multiple clients, at the same time. The client computer is not listed in the COM server to push install the software, so, first we will be creating a pseudo client. Right-click on Client Computers. Select New Client. Add New Client window. Under File System, select Unix. New Unix Client Configure window. Under Client Name, type in the name of the Linux machine that would be displayed in the COMSEL browser. Under Host Name, type the fully qualified domain name. Fetch the configuration information from the client that is already installed in the decoupled mode. Means the software is already installed on the client, and now you would like to add the client in the COMSEL browser, using the configuration file that is already created during the Commvault software pre-installation. Connect to a client and get its configuration. Retrieves the configuration information directly from the client computer that has the agent pre-installed. CVD port on client. Specifies the network port number specified on the client during the decoupled install of the software for communications with the COM server. Default port is 8400, unless otherwise changed during software install. Get client configuration from an input file on COM server. Retrieves the configuration information from an XML input file on the COM server, rather than from the remote computer. Browse and select the XML input file. Once done, click Next. Review the summary, and click Finish. The client is now visible under Client Computers. It will be showing grayed out. We are now ready to push install the software on this client computer. Right-click on the client. All tasks. Add Remove Software. Select Install Software. Install Wizard window. Let's use the installation wizard to remotely install Commvault software on the client computer. Click Next to continue. Enter account information. Reuse Active Directory credentials. This option is available only if you selected the configuration option to automatically discover computers for installing the software. Type in the root username. Specify the password of the root user account. Retype the password for confirmation. Use SSH key. If you use an SSH key to log on to your Linux machine, then specify the location of the private key. Please review the notes and conditions to use SSH key. Use SSH key file passphrase. Use this option if the SSH key requires a passphrase, and type in the passphrase for the SSH key. Use non-standard SSH port number. By default, the SSH protocol uses port number 22. Enable this checkbox to specify a different port number. Once done, click Next. Select Packages to install. From the list, select the Commvault packages that you want to install on the client computer. For this video, we will select Media Agent and File System Agent. Once done, click Next. Enter recommended settings for the selected software. Configure for laptop backups. Select this option to configure the file system agent for laptop backup. Configure as proxy. Select this option to configure this client to act as proxy server. Storage policy to use. The list displays the available storage policies to select and use for backup operations. You can leave it blank and configure it later. Once done, click Next. Enter additional install options. Reboot, if required. Select this option to automatically reboot the client computer during installation, whenever is needed. If this option is not selected, the client is not rebooted, even if a reboot is required. Please note. Use this option if the install includes a driver update. If not selected, the software required for the computer will not be installed. Example would be block-based backups. Restart Oracle or DB2 services. Use this option to automatically stop and start the database services. Install agents for restore only. Select this option to use the client computer only as a destination for restoring backup data. In this case, the agent will be installed without consuming any license. Ignore client or host name conflict. By default, this option is enabled to ignore the name conflict between the host name and client name during installation. Once done, click Next. Unix Advanced Options. Unix Group. You can specify a dedicated Unix group for all Commvault processes. Users associated to the Unix group are granted access rights over Commvault configuration files, registry, and log files. If you plan to install a database agent, assign the Unix group that is used by the database application, and add the database users to the group. For example, if you are installing the Oracle agent, you should specify the DBA group. Access permissions for group users is used to specify the access control permissions for the specified Unix group. Access permissions for other users. Specify the access control permissions for Commvault binaries for other users. Override Unix group and permissions. Select this option to change or override the Unix group and access permissions settings. You can run the cvpkgchg utility to update the settings. Temporary directory for installer. Specify the path to the directory where you want to extract the Commvault installation files. Listen only on the network interface used as host name. Select this option to force all services to listen to the network interface of the client to communicate with the CommServe computer. Once done, click Next. Optional settings. Index cache to this folder. Select this option to specify the location where you want to store the index cache files. For this video, we have created a new volume of 4 GB for Commvault install and mounted it on a ppl/commvault directory. We will use the same path here. Please note, the complete length of this path cannot exceed 75 characters. Install to this folder. The default install location is opt/commvault. Select this option to specify a folder to install the Commvault packages that you selected, instead of using the default installation folder. Log file location. The default log file location is var/log directory. Select the option to specify the directory where you want to store the installation log file. CVD port. The default port for Commvault communication is 8400, but you can specify the new network port number on the client for communication with the CommServe. CommServe override. Select this option to specify a different host name of the CommServe computer. Use this option only if you want the client to connect with the CommServe using an alternate host name. Example, if the client connects to the CommServe through a NAT or gateway, then specify the host name of the gateway here. Network routes configuration. This page is used to configure one-way or two-way network routes between the client and the CommServe. There is firewall between this machine and CommServe. Select this option if there is a firewall between the client and the CommServe computer. Client machines can open connection to CommServe on tunnel port. This option is selected by default. Select this option in the following scenarios. If the client can reach the CommServe through a tunnel port, also referred to as one-way direct connection. The clients and CommServe can reach each other using a tunnel port, also referred to as two-way direct connection. The clients reach the CommServe computer through a port forwarding gateway. After selecting this option, in the CommServe HTTP or HTTPS tunnel port number box, enter the incoming port number that can be used to open tunnel connections to the CommServe. Default tunnel port number is 8403. CommServe can open connection towards client machines. This configuration is also referred to as one-way direct connection, where the CommServe connects to the client through a tunnel port. With this option as well, you need to specify the local HTTP or HTTPS tunnel port number. CommServe is reachable only through proxy. Select this option if the client connects to the CommServe through a proxy. Select the name of the proxy client from the proxy client name drop-down list. Once done, click Next. You can run the install software job, either immediately, or schedule it for later. Click Configure to set the day and time at which you want to run the job. Once done, click Next. Summary. Review the options that you selected before you proceed to initiate the installation job. Save as script. You can save the selected options as a script file in XML format. The script can later be run from the command line interface using Q operation execute command. Click Advanced. Advanced Options window. Start up in suspended state. The job will be started and is seen in Job Controller in the suspended state. It has to be resumed manually to run. Start when CommServer activity is low. The job will be started and will be in waiting state, and is automatically run when the CommServer is idle, or activity is low. Alert tab. You can set an alert for the job, for successful completion, or failure if any. Once done, click OK. Click Finish to start the install software job. The install software job is seen in the Job Controller. Double-click to view the job details. Progress tab. Shows current phase of the job, job state, if running, pending, suspended, or failed. Elapsed time, since the job start time. Percentage completion of the job. General tab. Shows job ID. Job start time. Who started the job. And how the job was started. Attempts tab. Shows if there were any interruptions in the job, and if it was restarted. Client status tab. Shows the status. And the reason of the status. The job status is showing waiting, and the reason shows, to be attempted. It means the communication with the client is being established. Communication with client is successfully established, so CommServe is now transferring base package to the client. In this case it would be file system core. Please note, only needed binaries will be transferred, but not the entire software DVD. The software binaries are being transferred using port 22. Client is new. Hence installing file system core package. File system core package installation completed successfully. Please note, the job is still showing running, and is not yet completed. Job status is showing, in progress. It is now transferring the selected file system and media agent packages to the client computer. If you wish to check the job logs, right-click on the job. View logs. Select, for the job. Log files for the job will be populated in some time. Install software completed successfully. The job progressed to 90%. It is now updating the CommServe database with up-to-date information about the client, that is, client registration, applying needed licenses, etc. Install software job completed successfully. The install software job completed in single attempt, and there are no restarts. The client is seen under Client Computers as ready for backup and recovery operations. Right-click on the client. Click View. Select Installed Software. You see the selected software packages are installed on the client. Expand storage resources. Expand media agents. The client computer is also listed under the media agents. Let's check Commvault status on this Linux machine. Open PuTTY session with the Linux machine. Run command. Sympana status. You see the selected packages for installation are listed here. You get the same output using command, Commvault status. Let's proceed with manual install, but before we proceed we will decom the server, and clean up its entries from Commvault database. There are two ways to decommission a client in Commvault. One way is to uninstall Commvault software from the client server. During software uninstall, all the client licenses will be automatically released, and the client will be shown grayed out in the Commcell browser. The other way is to first release license in the Commcell browser, and later uninstall the software on the client. Depending upon the scenario, choose the suitable option. For this video we will do it from Commvault GUI. Right-click on the client. All tasks. Select Release License for Client. If you notice, we do not see the Media Agent license displayed. File System is the base component. Before we remove File System, we need to remove any agent installed above File System. Expand storage resources. Expand media agents. Before you proceed with release license of the media agent, ensure all configured, disk, or tape libraries are deconfigured. Right-click on the media agent. Select Release License for Media Agent. Release License for Media Agent window. Select the license seen under Licenses Consumed, and move it to Licenses to Release, using these options. Once done, click OK. On the Confirm pop-up window, click Yes, to continue releasing the license. License is released successfully, and the media agent is seen as grayed out. Please note, you won't be able to delete the client until the media agent is deleted, so let's delete the media agent. Right-click on the media agent. Select Delete Media Agent. On the Confirm pop-up window, click Yes, to continue releasing the license. Media agent is deleted successfully. Let's continue to decommission the client computer. Under Release License for Client window, select the license seen under Licenses Consumed, and move it to Licenses to Release, using these options. Once done, click OK. On the Confirm pop-up window, click Yes, to continue releasing the license. License is released successfully, and the client is seen as grayed out. You can now delete the client computer, but before doing that, let's uninstall the software from the client computer. Open the PuTTY session to the Linux machine. Browse to the base folder under Commvault installation path. cvpkgrm is the command used to uninstall Commvault software. Run the command using root account. Welcome to Uninstaller. Please note the location where the logs will be stored, just in case, if you face issues with uninstall, then you might want to review the logs. Select Next to proceed. Uninstall selection screen. You can select individual packages to remove. Select Next to continue. Package selection screen. From here select the packages to remove. For this video, let's select Remove all the packages. Select Next to continue. Summary screen. Review the selection before uninstallation. Once done, select Next to continue. Commvault software uninstallation process started. It is checking the uninstall requirements on CommServe. Uninstalling packages. Stopping services. Deleting registry entries. Invoking package-specific scripts. Performing pre-remove operations. Performing post-remove operations. Deleting binaries. Deleting registry entries. Performing post-remove operations. Uninstalling packages completed successfully. Sympana status command show no output. Let's delete the client from CommServe browser. Please note, once the client is deleted, there is no way to recover it. All the backed up data, and the configuration information, is deleted for good. Right-click on the client. All tasks. Select Delete. On the Delete confirmation pop-up window, click OK to confirm or proceed. In the Enter confirmation text window, type Erase and Reuse Media. Once done, click OK. Client is successfully deleted from the CommServe browser. We will now perform manual install. Open PuTTY session to the Linux machine. The Commvault software is in GBs, and we cannot copy it locally on the server, so we will mount the CIFS share on this server, and then proceed with installation. Please note, the network should be faster for it. If not, we recommend copying the software locally, and then proceed with local install. Software packages are accessible to proceed with the install. cvpkg-add is the command to install the software. Run the command using root account. Welcome to the installer. Please note the location where the logs will be stored, just in case, if you face issues with the install, then you might want to review the logs. Select Next to proceed. Install task screen. Select Install packages on this machine. Select Next to continue. Package selection screen. Select the packages you wish to install. For this video we will select File System Core, File System, and Media Agent. Select Next to proceed. Install directory. Leave default, or change the location as desired. Log directory. Leave default, or change the location as desired. Laptop and desktop backup. Select No. Select Next to continue. Unix group assignment. We discussed these topics before. Select No. Permission details. We recommend to use default options, but if needed, change the permissions as desired. Client host information. Review if the name is correct. If not, type the client fully qualified domain name. Client information. The name that should be seen in CommServe browser. Install agents for a store only. We discussed these topics before. Select No. Index cache directory. Use default, or change as desired. Summary. Review the summary, and select Next to proceed. Installing packages. It is now copying files locally to a temp location. Installing updates. Sometimes this action takes longer than expected, so please be patient. Updating registry. Updating package information. Setting permissions. Setting up registry. Saving progress in between. Post-installation settings. Invoking package-specific scripts. Configure firewall. Select No, as we do not have firewall, but if yes, we discussed before what options must be selected. CommServe host name. We recommend using CommServe fully qualified domain name, instead of IP address. CommServe per client certificate. By default, this option is not enabled on CommServe, so select No. But if yes, then you need to perform some other actions, which we briefly discussed before. Checking some requirements. It is now trying to verify details from the CommServe if the client already exists, or is new. CommServe administration. Enter CommServe admin account details. Configure the storage policy. If you are aware, select one from the list. If not, select Do Not Configure. You can configure it later. Register the client. Setting permissions for the new client. Starting Commvault services. Registering the client to the CommServe. Installation completed successfully. Sympana status. We see the same results as before. Commvault registry shows the installed instance. Client is visible under Client Computers. We also see it under Media Agents. Let's see the issues we dealt with during the process of Commvault install or uninstall. This is the first issue that we were able to reproduce. Push install job failed with error. Unable to obtain package information required to install selected packages. Pull the job logs. In the logs we see, unable to log into remote machine with error. Reason is, host does not exist. It is asking us to verify the remote machine name. We see there is an issue in the domain name of the server. Open Client Properties. Click Edit. Change the host name as it should be. Once done, click OK. On the Confirm window, click Yes to continue. Issue is fixed. This is the second issue we were able to reproduce. Push install job failed with error. Install software failed. Open the log files for the job. In the log we see, post-install of base software, client is trying to verify install state with the CommServe. After couple of attempts, it is giving error, client doesn't have valid certificate to connect. The issue is with communication between client and CommServe. We noticed on the Linux machine, the IP tables are not having proper rules set, so it is blocking the communication. Once we disabled the IP tables, install progressed, and the issue was resolved. These are the Linux commands that would be useful for a Commvault backup admin. If you want us to create a video for these commands usage, then leave a comment. One last important point to discuss is about dirty uninstall. We have seen people, instead of uninstalling the software, they just delete either Commvault directory, or the volume on which the software is hosted. This kind of actions would leave the Commvault registry, and logs left behind, causing unwanted issues. So, if someone has performed dirty uninstall, then ensure the Commvault registry under etc is removed, so fresh install can run smoothly. We will end this video here. Please subscribe to our channel, if not already done so. Do subscribe for more videos.